Hello and welcome once again to Red Gaming Tech. My name is Amata and today is the 12th of July and I'm here once again to give you a daily dose of the latest gaming news. Today I have some news for you concerning State of Decay. Some of you may remember the video I did, it must have been a few weeks ago now at least, saying that the game had actually been denied classification in Australia because of the stimulant system in the game, whereas you could take various drugs to power up your character. Well, I actually have some good news for you guys who are looking forward to this game in Australia. The Undead Labs posted news on its Facebook page this morning that an edited version was resubmitted to the Australian Classification Board and has now been given an R18 plus rating, and they did promise yet more news tomorrow. And if you're wondering, well, what did they change? How did they get it approved? Well, the Australian edit does see the stimulants being swapped for supplements in order to comply with the guidelines of the new rating system. And they approved the changes, with State of Decay now scoring mild impact for drug use and sex. It also contains moderate impact themes and language, high impact violence, and very mild impact nudity. I did speculate in my previous video that that's what they would have to do, that just change the names of what the players were having to take, because their main issue with State of Decay was the fact that they were taking drugs to be stronger, so they were like, well, this is glorifying drugs, giving players rewards for taking them, etc. We don't agree with that, can you change it? And I thought, well, it's a core mechanic, you can't change it, so the only way to get around it was to rename it. So now stimulants have become supplements. A little bit ridiculous to be sure, but just be happy that they've actually figured out a way to get the game to your shores without really compromising their vision. Because, well, while it would have been nice that they didn't have to edit or change anything in order to get it to your guys in Australia, it's not exactly a huge deal. It would have been a much bigger deal if, say, for example, they'd had to take this mechanic out or severely change it or anything like that. But personally, while it's a mild irritation that we have to rename the stimulants to supplements, it's a reasonable compromise to get it actually rated in Australia. It's a shame they had to change anything, of course. We all would have preferred to have the original untainted version release in every single country, but unfortunately they have had to make this minor concession. I think that we should just be grateful that it's a minor concession, that everything else about the game, the violence and everything else, hasn't been messed with, and it sounds like from how they've worded it that the system itself hasn't been changed. It's just the names of the products you're actually going to be using to power up your character have been, the name's been changed. They're stimulants instead of, say, the supplements instead of stimulants, so you're not giving the players quote-unquote rewards for taking drugs. I do find it a little bit ridiculous that they've suddenly started flaring up, pointing out all these things. They seem to have an issue with drugs in particular because, well, that was one of their reasons behind not giving Saints Row 4 a classification, and as far as I'm aware, they haven't given it one yet, unless I've completely missed that news. Please do let me know in the comments if they have. If I've missed it, I can't catch every single piece of news as much as I'd love to, so do let me know if I somehow missed that, but I'm fairly certain that they haven't. I probably would have heard. So it's a little bit ridiculous that anything's had to be changed. I mean, obviously when we got the new rating system in Australia, we thought, oh, that's the end of that stupidness, that's the end of all these games that are adult not coming out in Australia to quote-unquote protect the children or whatever. But unfortunately they've seen problems with these various games, and they do seem to target drugs in particular, at least with the last couple of games. Of course, they've been fairly quiet all this time. It was just a bit of a shame that State of Decay and Saints Row 4 both got denied classification within about a day of each other, and for similar reasons as well, which is just all the more interesting. I could probably rant for ages on why this is a little bit silly, but I think we should just be grateful that the changes were small and just get on with it. My main worry is for Saints Row 4. I highly doubt they're going to be able to do as much with just a small name change in that game, given the rather ridiculous and out there nature of that particular series. Anyway, that's me done for this video. As always, do hit me up with your thoughts and opinions down below, and I'll see you next time.